again. This is video number 6. Thank you all for sticking with the programme. I know it's really not easy when you're stuck at home and you haven't got a class to go to. It does require some self-motivation, so well done. This morning we are going to start off in a slightly different position, just to make a bit of a change, and start off on your back. Coming into a sitting position. Knees up, feet flat on the floor, making sure you've got enough mat to roll down on. Hold on behind one thigh and then tilt the pelvis, create a C shape, and then slowly roll gently down onto your back. From here, taking a moment to set up. Bring your chin down over the large right peach, stretch fingertips towards your toes. Work your way down into the small of your back and put the little grape in the natural curve. So you're not going to tilt your pelvis and crush the grape or arch the back off the grape, maintaining that natural curve. Tray of marbles balanced across the pelvis and bracing the tummy. Orange width between the knees, shoulders, hips, knees and ankles aligned, and heels in line with the sit bones. Practicing the breathing first of all. Breathing full and wide into the rib cage, then you don't interfere with your zip up and hollow. Thinking about zipping up a tight pair of jeans, hollowing out the tummy, but without crushing the grape, and there's no tilt on the pelvis. Breathing full and wide into the rib cage will expand out to the side a little bit, up towards the ceiling, a little bit into the floor. But try not to breathe into the tummy. You could always rest your hands on your tummy to make sure that you're breathing full and wide into the rib cage only. Maybe breathing in for the count of 4, and then breathing out for the count of 5. So getting rid of some of that stale air out of the bottom of your lungs. Breathing in, big expansion of the rib cage, and breathing out, press the tummy button into the backbone, pressing a little bit more of that stale air out of the bottom of your lungs. So continue with that lateral breathing. And from here, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, just slide the right leg straight out along the floor. And breathe in to bring it back. Then exhale the left leg straight out along the floor, and breathe in to bring it back. Continue with that without allowing your back to arch off the grape when you slide the leg out, and when you slide the leg in, making sure your pelvis doesn't tilt and crush the grape. Do alternate leg slides while keeping your torso as stable as you can. Bracing the tummy, breathing full and wide. And then maybe changing that and lifting the right arm over the top of your head, just as far as you can, but without the rib cage flaring, and bringing the arm back down. Keep the chin down over the peach all the time, exhaling the arm over the top of your head. And again. Lifting up maybe that little bit further with each one, but try not to allow the rib cage to lift, otherwise you will lose contact with your grape. And that also means that you're working those deep abdominal muscles, keeping the gap between the rib cage and the pelvis exactly the same, increasing that range of movement if you can, a little bit further over the top of your head, but with that rib cage down. Now see if you can add in the opposite arm and leg. Taking the right arm over while the left leg slides out. As you exhale and inhale to bring it back. You can reach over the head, extend the leg all the way out, but without your back arching. That's the challenge, is to keep that rib cage knitted down. Only taking the arms far over as you can. Nice and smooth and with control. Keeping that tray of marbles balanced across the pelvis. You're not allowing the pelvis to rock from side to side while you extend the legs. Warming up the hips, the knees, the shoulders, but really switching on those deep stabilizer muscles. And then maybe you could take both the arms over the top of your head, which is a little bit trickier to keep that rib cage down. Therefore, you might not be able to lift the arms right over. Otherwise, that rib cage will flare. You can always stay with the alternate arms if you find that's easier. But you're really bracing those tummy muscles. If you would like to work even harder, then you could
Extend both the legs out while both the arms go over. Now this is a lot trickier when it comes to pulling those legs back in. Making sure the back does not arch off the grate, keeping that rib cage knitted right down. If you find that's too much, of course you could stay with the alternate legs. And of course you could stay with the alternate arms as well, so you can decide which level you want to go to. Clearly the most challenging would be both arms, both legs, keeping the rib cage down, the chin down over the peach, and that tray of marbles still. And when you've completed the one you're doing, make sure you do equal numbers on both sides if you're doing alternate legs. Taking the arms out to the side crucifix position with the palms turned down. Bring the knees and the feet together. Keeping the chin down over the peach. Taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, roll the knees over to the right side while your head goes to the left. Looking along that left arm. Hold to breathe in, and breathing out, bring the legs back up again to centre. Hold to breathe in the centre, breathing out, turn the head and look over your right arm. Hold to breathe in, and breathing out, come back to centre. Keeping the knees together, then those inner thighs will work a little bit. Getting flexibility into your hips, your spine and your neck. Try to keep the rib cage knitted right down. Just twisting to the side, keeping the shoulder blades glued onto the floor. Trying to take those knees a little bit further with each one, increasing that range of movement. Warming up the spine and the hips and the neck. Maybe one more time on either side, keeping those knees glued together. Rolling over as you exhale, inhale, hold, exhale, heave it up, and then gently to the other side. And then bring it back to the start position. Bringing the arms back down by your side. Check you've got that little grey in the small of your back again. And keeping the pelvis level. Reaching towards the toes. Bring the feet a little bit apart again. Then the knees are in line with the hips, and you've got your orange between your knees. Keep the chin down. And breathing in to tilt the pelvis. Crush the grate now. And breathing out to release. Scooping out the tummy as you press your tummy button right down into your backbone. And then release. Maybe breathing in to tilt. And breathing out to release. Try to keep the buttocks relaxed and just focus on the tummy. Keeping the feet rooted into the floor will help to keep you stable. Weight even between the little toe, the big toe and the heels. And then adding the pelvic floor into this. Breathing in to tilt, breathing out to squeeze up the pelvic floor, and breathing in to hold, and then breathing out to release. Isolate those muscles. So tummy, press you back into the mat. And then squeezing up that hammock of muscle from the front to the back between the legs. The muscles that you stop yourself going to the loo at an inappropriate time. And then release. So it's a crushing of the grape. Squeeze up between the legs. And release. Try to keep the buttocks relaxed. You're isolating your tummy. Isolating the pelvic floor. And then see if you can just bring the heels maybe a little bit closer underneath the knees. So the heels are in line with the sit bones. Still got the orange there. Then breathing in to tilt the pelvis. Breathing out to pick the hips up off the floor. Push up and balance on the shoulder blades, the shoulders, the soles of the feet. Hold to breathe in, and breathing out. Gently link by link, like a bicycle chain, imprint your back into the mat. Crush the grape, tilt the pelvis back into neutral. Put a new grape in and stop again. Breathing in to tilt. Breathing out to pick the hips up. And at the same time, you're pulling up that pelvic floor as well. Hold at the top, push the knees forward towards the wall in front of you. Get a good stretch through the hip flexors. And then link by link, bone by bone, you come back down. Balancing, so those core muscles are working. Breathing in to tilt, scoop out the tummy. Breathing out, pick up the hips, pick up the pelvic floor, and push up. Try and have a nice straight line from your knee to your shoulder, like a ski slope. Hold it there, balancing, and then gently, gently bring it back down. Link by link, bone by bone. What about adding some arms into this? Breathing in to tilt, breathing out, pick up the hips, pick up the pelvic floor, pick the arms up, reach up towards the ceiling. Hold to breathe in, and breathing out, gently bring it back down. If you find that's too much for balance, of course, you can always leave your arms on the floor. Breathing in to tilt. Breathing out, pick up hips, pick up pelvic floor, pick the arms up, and then take the arms just that little bit further over your head. Still holding onto that orange, link by link, bone by bone. You come back down again. Try and keep the chin down over the peach all the time, so you keep the length in the neck. So you're doing your pelvic tilt, pulling up the pelvic floor, pushing up into the bridge, and see if you can take the arms all the way over. Still pushing those knees forward away from you. Hold to breathe in, reaching back, then breathing out, start to bring it all back down. Try and get each individual bone onto the mat, encouraging lots of flexibility into your spine. Make sure you keep your heels directly underneath your knees, which will help with the push off. Breathing in to tilt, breathing out to pick up. Don't forget that pelvic floor. Hold that pelvic floor for as long as you can. You might not be able to hold it up all the way up and all the way down, but that doesn't matter. You start again at the bottom. See how long you can hold that pelvic floor. And then maybe adding something else onto this, pushing up, reaching all the way over. See if you can leave the arms there while you try to bring your spine down. Link by link, bone by bone. Now when you tilt your pelvis back into neutral, bring the arms back down by your side. Breathing in to tilt. Breathing out to pick up the hips, pick up the pelvic floor, pick the arms up. Reach all the way over. Keep those knees in alignment. Hold to breathe in and breathing out now. See if you can put the spine down. It's a lot trickier when you've got your arms over your head, so you might need to lift them off the floor a little bit. Tilt the pelvis, bring it back into neutral, and start again. Now you might have discovered now that you've caterpillared down your mat. You might need to just slide that down your mat and continue. Breathing in to tilt, breathing out, pick up the hips, pick up the pelvic floor, pick the arms up. Keep the chin down over the peach, reach back. Encouraging lots of flexibility into your shoulders, into your spine. You can always lift those arms up off the floor to get the spine down if you find it's too much, with the arms all the way over. And then maybe just one more time. Tilt, pick it all up, all the way over, reaching back. You could feel those buttocks engage. And then link by link, bone by bone, you gently bring it back to the floor. And bring the arms back down by your side. Stretch the fingertips towards your toes. And then hug those knees into the chest. Bring the head into the knees, nose to nose. Hug it in, nice and tight. Hold that there. Get a good stretch. Remember, you can always support the head with one hand while you make yourself into a ball, hugging the knees in, nose to nose. And then relax back down, one foot down and the other foot down. Take the arms over the top of your head, stretch out the legs and give yourself a full body stretch from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes. Breathing still full and wide into the ribs. And then see if you can bring yourself up to sitting with grace, elegance and control. Breathing in, nod your head, float the arms up towards the ceiling. Breathing out, peel off up to a nice straight back. If that's not good for you, you can hold on behind one thigh. Use the weight of the leg. Breathing in, nod your head. Breathing out, just pull with the leg up. Again, nice straight back. Or the other alternative is to put the hands behind you, palms down. Again, breathing in, nod your head. Breathing out, press down with the palms and just push up. Failing that, you can always roll over onto your side and then push up to sitting. And then sitting up nice and tall, holding on behind the thighs. Knees up, feet flat on the floor. Got the orange between the knees, the peach underneath the chin. Then breathing in to tilt the pelvis, create a C curve. And breathing out to straighten, articulating your spine. Scooping out the tummy as you breathe in.
and breathing out to lengthen. Make sure the shoulders don't creep up around the ears. Sitting on the pointy bones of your bottom there. And then see if you can add on to that. Breathing in to tilt, breathing out to roll back and extend the arms. Looking underneath the orange, keep the shoulders down. Hold to breathe in and breathing out, C-shape up and straighten. If it's not comfortable for you, you can always lie on your back with the knees up, feet flat on the floor, and just do the pelvic tilting. Then maybe you could take the arms out. Breathing in to tilt, breathing out to roll back. Just bring the fingers over the knees, still looking forward. Hold to breathe in and breathing out, keep the C shape and lengthen. If that's too much, of course, you can still hold on behind the thighs, or you could lie on your back. If you find that you have got tightness going on in those hip flexors, just straighten the legs. You can always point the toes as well to help to keep the legs anchored down. And exactly the same thing. Tilt and roll back. You can decide which position is best for you. Hold to breathe in, looking forward, breathing out to C shape. But if you can, you hold on behind the thighs or reach forward or lie on your back. Tilt and roll back, hold to breathe in and breathe out to pull up. So really feel those tummy muscles work. And of course, add-ons coming. Legs bent or legs straight. Tilt and roll back, hold to breathe in, shoulders down. Breathing out, lift the right arm up. Breathing in to reach forward and breathing out to pull up. Again, nice straight back. Breathing in, tilt, scoop out the tummy. Rolling back on the out breath. Hold to breathe in, breathing out, lift arm to ear. Reach forward and pull back up. Nice straight back. Of course, you can hold on behind the thighs. Tilt and roll back. Leave that left hand behind the thigh while you reach up with the right. And then push forward, still holding on to the orange and the peach. So you can decide which level you want to go to with this one. Then again, if you want to, you could add on to that. You could tilt and roll back, hold to breathe in. Breathing out, lift right arm up. Breathing in, reach forward, straight away. Left arm goes up. Then you could pull up, so you're holding back for longer. You could do that with the hands behind the thighs as well. That's too much. Again, you can lie on your back and just pelvic tilt. And as you pelvic tilt, you could take the arms over your head while keeping the rib cage down. Adding on to this if you want to, hands behind the thighs, reaching forward, tilt and roll back, hold to breathe in. And then breathing out, lift one arm, reach forward, lift the other arm, reach forward. And then, as long as you're not holding on behind the thighs, of course, you can do both arms together and then pull back up. But you could still stay with any which one of the earlier options. Harder version, tilt and roll back, and then both arms up, both arms forward, and maybe repeat 3 times. If you find your feet are lifting, extend the legs, and then pull back up. There is one more level. If you're interested, you would tilt and roll back, legs straight or legs bent, lift the arms and sweep around and either pull up or repeat. See how many times you can hold that. So you decide which level. Remember, straight leg will help to keep you anchored down. Then when you've done enough repetitions, hug the knees into the chest, drop the head over the knees and stretch your back. Hold that there, just hug in and drop the head. Then coming onto the hands and knees, if you are happy, on your hands and knees. If not, I will give you an alternative in a second. From here, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and just dip your back. Lift the chest. You've got a bit of a stretch through your tummy, but keep the chin down over your peach. Slide your shoulder blades down your back so you can feel a contraction in the back. And then a big arch, drop the head, tuck the pelvis under and look back between the thighs. Drop the head. So you've got to stretch your spine now. And then repeat. Drop down through the middle, lift the hips, lift the shoulders, slide the shoulder blades down. and then do that big arch again. If that's not comfortable hands and knees because of wrists or knees, you could do sitting and then put back of the hand onto the forehead, other back of the hand in the small of the back. Keep your chin down over your peach and bend backwards if you're going back over a beach ball. Looking forward, keep the shoulder down and then bring it forward and then go over the knees. You could always do that instead. Getting articulation into your spine, a bit of a stretch through your spine and your tummy. Then when you've done equal numbers of dips and arches, coming onto the hands and knees, if you're all right on your hands and knees. If you're not, just go onto your front and I'll give you an alternative to do. Make sure you've got a full back length between the hands and the knees and not too close together. And then crossing the right ankle over your left ankle, so that right knee will turn out to the side, rotating from the hip. Maybe spread the fingers to spread the load, or you could come up onto your knuckles if you prefer, or even go down on your elbows if your wrists are not happy with that. Of course, if you're on your hands, you're going to promote bone growth in your wrists. Make sure you tuck your pelvis under so there's no dip in your back, otherwise the teats on the back of your pelvis and between your shoulder blades will slide into the dip. Holding that there. And then keep the feet underneath the chin, the plank of wood on the back of your head. And then exhale and lift the leg up and inhale to lower it down. Literally straight up. So you're not going to the side, you're keeping the knee turned out and the foot turned in. And as you lift, you'll feel your buttock engaged. Try not to lean over. Then that left elbow won't be bending because you've got a cup of tea between your shoulder blades, cup of tea on the back of your pelvis. And then we've done about 5 of those. Swap to the other side. Keep the cups of tea still. Make sure you're not allowing a dip. Keep that pelvis tucked under so the deep abdominal muscles are working to keep you stable. Try not to lean over and then exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Keep the plank of wood on the back of your head. You're not going to lift the head, otherwise you knock your plank off. The peach drops out. Keeping the eyes focused on the floor. Try not to lean over. Keep those 2 cups of tea still. Lifting the knee up as high as you can without leaning over to the side. Keeping the knee turned out and the foot turned in. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower, keeping the weight even between the hands and the knee. And then we've completed equal numbers on both sides. I have no idea whether I did or not, but you can count. Going back to that start position, crossing the right ankle over, right knee out to the side, keep the cups of tea still, keep that tummy pulled up, and then exhale to lift, inhale, rotate so that the sole of the foot is pointing towards the wall behind you. Flex the foot, push the sole of the foot into the wall behind. Then bring the heel back into the bottom so the knee goes out to the right side, and then lower the ankle on top of the ankle while keeping your torso as stable as you can. Maybe exhale up, inhale, rotate. Exhale, imprint, sole of the foot onto the wall behind. Maybe inhale, hold. Feel that buttock engage. And then exhale, bring the heel in and inhale to lower. So you think you can maybe do 5, 7 or 10 repetitions on each side. So I'm just going to swap over now because as usual I have no idea how many I've done. Cross the ankle over and then keep the cups of tea still, your peach underneath your chin, your plank. Try not to lean over, make sure that right elbow doesn't bend. So your back is like a table. Exhale to lift, inhale, rotate. Flex the foot and then you can really feel your buttock engage as you push the legs straight out. Bring the heel to the bottom, knee goes out and the ankle crosses the ankle. Try to keep that torso as stable as you can. Pushing away, flexibility into your hip and your knee. So you're working into the buttock, outside hip and thighs you lift, inner thigh to rotate. And the quadricep to push out, flexing the foot, feel the stretch with the hamstring. And then bring the heel in, the hamstring, the outside hip and thigh works, and gravity takes it down. Nice and smoothly. You decide how many you're going to do on each side, trying to keep everything else as stable as you can while you move that one limb. Then you've completed equal numbers, sitting back onto the heels,
Let the forehead rest down. You might want to stretch the arms out in front of you. So stretching, reaching back, lifting the arms up and just rotate the wrists, ease out the wrists. First one way and then the other way. Maybe open the knees a little bit, get those hips back further, breathing full and wide into the ribs. If that is not comfortable, just sit on your bottom, swing your legs round in front of you, put a big beach ball on your lap, reach over the beach ball for your toes, and rotate the wrists. If that wasn't comfortable for the knees, sitting back onto the heels, it's this one instead. And coming on to your front. Let the forehead rest down, take the arms out to the side, crucifix position, bending the elbows at a 90-degree angle, lengthening through the legs. So put your peach underneath your chin, between your chin and your chest. Slide your shoulder blades down your back, shoulders away from the ears. Shoulders, hips, knees and ankles aligned. Tummy button pulled up off that little flat hot stone. Engaging the tummy. Cup of tea resting on the back of your pelvis. Got my hand pressing down between your shoulder blades, so you can feel the pressure of the hand pressing down. Then taking a breath in. As you breathe out, just lift. Keep the eyes focused on the floor. Inhaling down. Exhale to lift and inhale to go down. Lifting up into the hand. If that's not comfortable with your neck, you can always turn the head to the side. Lift up, look down, and then let your cheek rest again. If it's not comfortable with the arms there, you could always take the arms down by your side and lift. And keep doing the lifting and then adding a leg in. Exhale to lift and inhale to lower. And the other leg, lift and lower. Try to keep the peach underneath the chin, between the chin and the chest. And try to keep your hip bones glued onto the floor so that your hips are not rocking from side to side. Keep that tummy button pulled up and in. Now what about single, single and then double? So you could do a single leg with the upper body and lower down, and the other leg, and then both together. Or you could just stay with the singles. If it's not comfortable to lift both together, of course you could do them separately. Just the upper body first, and then take it down, and then you could maybe do the single, single, double with the legs. If you can, you try and do them together, keeping everything stable in the pelvis. So exhaling up, lift, inhale, lower. Exhale up, inhale, lower, and then both together. What about lifting up, lifting the leg, lowering the leg, lifting the leg, lowering the leg, and both together, and down. So you're holding the upper body up that little bit longer. Of course, if that's too much, you can go down each time. And then there is a little bit of an add-on if you're interested. You can lift one leg, lower the leg, lift the leg, lower the leg, lift both the legs, then bring the arms back and reach back, hold to breathe in and breathing out, bring the arms back, bring the legs down, bring the chest down. But of course, if that's too much, you don't need to add that on at all. Exhaling, lift one leg and the upper body, lift the other leg, and then both together and hold. Keep the peach underneath the chin, looking at the floor, reaching forward, stretching back, working that posture muscle across the upper back and down. You decide how many repetitions you would like to do, at whichever level, and then come up onto the hands and knees, arch the back, drop the head, pull the tummy button up and in, and give yourself a really good stretch. Tuck the pelvis under, drop the head. Remember, you can always come up onto your knuckles if it's not comfortable on the palms. Really open up the vertebrae. And because you've also worked the upper back, crossing the arms at the wrists and doing that big arch again. You might want to bring the hands a little closer in towards the knees. Arch the back, drop the head, and then change the crossover. If that's not comfortable, sit on the bottom, swing the legs around in front of you, put that big beach ball on your lap, reach around the beach ball, pull the ball into the chest and drop the head onto the ball. Then you can feel the stretch between the shoulder blades and of course the back of the neck. And then you can either sit back onto the heels, let the forehead rest down to stretch the buttocks, or you could hug the knees into the chest, drop the head over the knees. Either which one of those. Just hugging in nice and tight. And they've been sitting back onto the heels. Then just come up into a sitting position. Stretch the legs out. Make sure you've got enough mat to roll down on. Pop the hands onto the floor and just reach forward and have a good stretch through the lower back, the buttocks, the hamstrings. And then reach in the arms, keep the shoulders down, tilt the pelvis and do the controlled roll back onto the mat. Link by link, bone by bone. Remember, if that's too much, you can hold on behind one thigh or you can put the hands behind you to control the speed as you go down. And then from there, just put the knees up, feet flat on the floor. Chin down over the peach. Stretch the fingertips towards the toes and lengthen through the neck. Shoulders, hips, knees and ankles are aligned. And then now that you're set up with the shoulders, hips, knees and ankles aligned, starting off with a pelvic tilt again, breathing in to tilt the pelvis and breathing out to release, just scooping out the tummy. Breathing in to tilt, keeping the chin down while you tilt the pelvis. Crushing the grape. And inhale to press down, exhale to release. And then breathing in to tilt, breathing out to pick up the hips and push up into a bridge. Hold to breathe in at the top and breathing out link by link, bone by bone, you come back down again. Crushing the grape, tilt the pelvis back into neutral, put a new grape in and start again. Breathing in to tilt, breathing out, pick up the hips, pick up the pelvic floor as well, pulling up between the legs. Hold to breathe in at the top, push the knees forward towards the wall in front of you. Hold to breathe in and breathing out link by link, bone by bone. You gently come back down, tilt the pelvis back into neutral, put a new grape in, start again. Keep the heels directly underneath the knees, breathing in to tilt, breathing out to pick the hips up. Hold up at the top. To breathe in, balance on the shoulder blades, the shoulder soles of the feet. And then link by link, bone by bone, you come back down again. Make sure you hold on to that orange between the knees. Then the inner thighs will work a little bit as well. Breathing in to tilt, scoop out the tummy, pull up the pelvic floor. Hold that pelvic floor for as long as you can. Hold up at the top. Now see if you can add on to that. See if you can drop your right hip down. As you exhale, inhale, bring it back. Exhale, left hip down. Inhale, bring it back. And then link by link, bone by bone. You articulate your spine back to start position. Breathing in to tilt, breathing out to pick the hips up, push up and balance. Push those knees forward so you get a bit of a stretch through the hips. Breathing in and breathing out, drop the right hip. And breathing in, bring it back. Breathing out, drop the left hip. Breathe in, bring it back. And then gently, gently bring it back down. Now, if you find the whole bridge is too much to do all of that, what you could do is pelvic tilt, release. Then do a hip pitch on the right side, a hip pitch on the left side, and then back to the pelvic tilt. So you could decide which level you want to go for. So of course you're adding in some waist work. If you're doing the bridge, you're holding up that pelvic floor, and you're working more into your buttocks and your hamstrings as well. Try to keep the left hip still while you drop the right one. Hold on to that orange, don't let that orange drop. and the left hip drops, and then you gently bring it back, and then link by link, bone by bone, you bring it back down. If you would like to work it a little bit harder, you could float the arms up towards the ceiling while you put that bridge in and pull up the pelvic floor, and then drop the hips. So it's a little bit trickier to balance, just on the shoulder blades, the shoulders, the soles, the feet, and then gently bring the arms back down while you bring your spine back down. If that's no good, you stay with the first options, or you could do the pelvic tilt, the hip hitch, and the hip hitch. So nice and smooth, scooping out the tummy, floating up, reaching up, and then do the hip drop. Feel the buttocks engage, getting flexibility into your spine, balancing those core muscles working. Nice and smooth. So it would be breathe in to tilt, breathing out to pick up. Don't forget the pelvic floor. Try and hold that pelvic floor for as long as you can. And then dip, and then dip, and then gently bring it back down. And then you decide how many you want to do, and then hug the knees into the chest, bring the head up into the knees. You might want to support the head with one hand while you bring your nose to your knees and your knees to your nose. And then just relax down, one foot down, the other foot down. Then maybe you can make that a little bit more challenging if you want to. Breathing in to tilt, breathing out, pick up the hips, pick up the pelvic floor, pick the arms up if you want to. Hold up at the top. Now see if you can circle the hips around. Think about hula hooping. Try to keep your knees still and that orange between the knees. So do a few circles in one direction and then change and make it go the other way. Nice and smooth. So really hard work for those core muscles, for the hamstrings, for the buttocks, and of course flexibility into your middle. If that's too much, you can stay with the dips, or you can keep the hips on the floor and do the pelvic tilt, the hip hitch and the hip pitch. Then when you've done enough repetitions there, link by link, bone by bone, with control, back to the mat. And then again, hug those knees into the chest, nose to knees nose. Hug in nice and tight. Remember, you can support the head if you need to. Just make yourself into a ball and then release. Putting one foot down, the other foot down. And then from there, just hug the right knee into the chest. Get a stretch through the buttock. And then straighten the leg up towards the ceiling. Remember, you can hold on behind your thigh or your calf, trouser leg, or even sock. But make sure the leg stays nice and straight. Relax the neck, relax the shoulders. You can extend your left leg along the floor if you want to, and that might just help to keep the buttock on the floor and lengthen the hamstring. But if it starts to bend the knee, then slide that left leg right back in again. Give it a really good stretch through that hamstring. And then replace the foot and have a go on the other leg. Just hug in behind the thigh first of all, get a stretch in the buttock, and then straightening the leg up, holding on behind the thigh, the calf, or the sock or the trouser leg. Just ease the leg in. And again, if you want to, you can extend the other leg. And if you find that that makes you bend that left leg, then you slide that right one back in again. You should have a really good stretch behind the knee up into the thigh, in that hamstring. Just ease it in that little bit more. And replacing the foot to the floor. Then bringing the soles of the feet together, let the knees just flop apart and stretch those inner thighs. Slide the heels a little bit closer in towards your body. Get a good stretch. Relax the neck, relax the shoulders. Just relax into that stretch. And then lifting the legs back up. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. And then if you can hug the legs in while holding on behind that left thigh. If that's too much, of course, remember you can just leave the foot on the floor. You decide, but you want a good stretch of the outside of the hip and thigh down into the buttock. And when you've had a good stretch there, changing legs, just cross over. You can leave it there, you can lift the heel, you can leave the ball down, you can lift the foot, you can hold on behind the thigh. Just bring the legs in, relaxing the neck, relax the shoulders. Hold and stretch. And replacing the feet to the floor. Stretch the legs out, take the arms over the top of your head and just stretch through from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes. Lengthen, stretch and breathe. And bring the arms back down by your side, slide the feet back in again. Relax the neck, relax the shoulders. And now is the bit that you've probably all been waiting for, the relaxation. But of course, if you don't want to do the relaxation, I know not everybody's keen, then you can just fast forward to the little bit of stretching that we'll do at the end. If you want to do the relaxation, and then maybe you might just want to get a cushion or a rug and cover yourself with that if you think you might be a little bit cold and you might need a little bit of head support. And then once you've done that, just roll gently down onto your back again. Extend the legs out. Chin down over the peach. Stretch the fingertips towards your toes with the palms up if that's comfortable. If it's not, you can have the palms turned down. And then extending through the legs, relaxing the neck, relaxing the shoulders. And then closing your eyes and just keeping them comfortably closed. Focusing on your body and your breathing. First of all, stretching the fingers out, extending the fingers as you exhale, and inhale to release. Exhale, extending the fingers out as they rest by your side, and inhale to release. And then one more time, just stretch out and release. And then pushing the heels away from you, flexing the feet as you exhale, and inhale to release. Pushing the heels away from you as you exhale, and inhale to release. One more time. Feel the stretch through the backs of the legs, and release. Allow the feet to flop apart. If it is not comfortable with your legs straight, you can always bend one knee up or even both knees up. Just keeping your back comfortable. At any point you can change the position. Then pressing your back into the mat as you exhale and inhale to release. Pressing tummy button to the backbone, scoop out the tummy as you exhale, inhale, release. And then exhale one more time, pressing into the mat, inhale to release and just allow your tummy to relax. Then letting the head roll gently from side to side. Ease out any remaining tension in the neck and then allow your head to rest where it's comfortable. Keeping the eyes comfortably closed. Focusing on your breathing. Each and every time you breathe out, try and relax a little bit more. Any noises that you might be aware of in the house or in the garden or on the road outside, allow those noises to fade into the background, to be of no concern. Focusing on your body and your breathing. And beginning by focusing on the muscles around your head and face. Make sure there's no frown on your forehead. Allow your brow to become smooth and wide. Let your cheeks soften and become smooth. Make sure your jaw is not clenched tightly. Allow your jaw to drop a little. And allow your tongue to rest in the base of your mouth. Let your head become a little bit heavy, sinking down into some warm sand. Let the muscles of your head and face relax. Breathing out and relaxing. And paying attention to the muscles in your neck and shoulders. Smooth away any areas of tightness or tension. Ease out any knots. Allow your shoulders to sink down into warm sand. Allow your shoulder blades to melt down into that warm sand too. Let the muscles of your shoulders and neck relax. Paying attention to your arms as they rest by your side. From your shoulders, over your elbows and wrists, down into your fingertips. Allow your arms to sink down, becoming heavy, sinking into the warm sand. Allow your muscles in your arms to relax. And paying attention to the back of your body, being aware of all those little muscles against the mat. Allow those muscles from the back of your neck all the way down into the base of your spine to soften and spread. Let the muscles of your back relax. Sinking down into the warm sand. Focusing on your chest. Be aware of your chest rising and falling as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Imagine a huge weight has been lifted off your chest, allowing you to breathe freely and easily. Let the muscles of your tummy soften and relax. Allow the whole of your upper body to sink down into the warm sand, becoming heavy. Breathing out and relaxing. Turn your attention to the lower part of your body. Hips, buttocks and thighs. Allow those muscles to soften and spread. Make sure your knees are not locked. Make sure your calves aren't clenched tightly. Allow your legs to become heavy and sink down into the warm sand. Then paying attention to your feet. From your ankles all the way down to your toes. Make sure your toes aren't curling tightly. Allow all the little muscles in your feet to relax. Allow the feet to flop apart. Be aware of warm air circulating around your feet. those feet to sink down into the warm sand. Breathing out and relaxing with each and every out breath. Allow your body to sink down, heavy into the warm sand. Just take a moment or two to focus on your body. Breathe out any areas of tightness or tension that may be left in there. Breathing out and relaxing. You have nothing else to do for the next few moments but relax. And then just gradually become aware of yourself, lying on your mat, gradually becoming aware of your body and your breathing, becoming aware of the sounds around you. And then when you're ready, in your own time, taking this feeling of relaxation away with you, opening your eyes and coming back into the room. So if you just want to stretch the arms out and give yourself a big stretch through from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes. Lengthen and stretch, breathe. And then bring the arms back down by your side, gently rolling over, please, onto your front. Take the forehead down onto the back of one hand, reach behind with the other hand for the foot on the same side. Bring the knees together, press the hip into the floor and stretch the front of the thigh. Remember, you can get hold of your sock or your trouser leg, or you could cross the other ankle over to ease the leg in if you need to. And if you want to, you can lift the head and the shoulders, but keep the eyes focused on the back of the hand. That will give you more stretch in the quadricep and the hip flexor. And we've had a good stretch there. Change legs. Heel to bottom, knees together, pressing the hip into the floor. Lifting head and shoulders, but only if you feel you need that extra stretch, a bit more intensity. And then replacing the foot to the floor, coming up onto the hands and knees. And do your angry pussycat stretch. Arch the back, drop the head, pull the tummy button up and in. Look back between the thighs. Remember, you can always come up onto your knuckles. If it's not comfortable, or you can even sit on your bottom, swing your legs round in front of you. And straighten the legs out, reach over the beach ball for your toes. Create your arch that way. And from here, relax the back, walk the hands into the knees, tuck your toes under, hover the knees, push the hips up into the air, keep the head down, the knees slightly bent, walking the hands into the toes, keep the tummy pulled up and in to support your back, arms close into the legs and slowly come up, link by link, bone by bone, up against that imaginary wall. And then from here, drop your right ear down into your shoulder while you slide the left hand down the seam of the trouser leg. Stretch the neck. Turn the head and look down at that right shoulder. Keeping the chest open, slowly turn the head and look up and behind into the left corner. Try not to move your torso at all as you drop the chin all the way down into the chest. Slide shoulder blades down your back, shoulders away from the ears. Lengthen the neck. Keep that tailbone pointing down, the tummy pulled up and in, the pelvic floor still lifting a little bit. Good stretch through the neck. Then lifting the head up. Drop the left ear while the right hand slides down. Stretch neck, stretch shoulder. And then turn the head and look down at that left shoulder. Slowly turning the head, trying to move the torso and look up into the right corner behind you. And gently bringing the chin back down into the chest. Lifting the head up. And release the shoulders forward, up and round and back and down. Get those shoulders moving again. Big shoulder roll. And just to make sure you're absolutely awake, lift the arms up, bend the knees, swing the arms, drop the head, swing the arms, bend the knees, just loosen it all up. And then you can give yourselves a clap. Well done. And I hope if you did the relaxation that you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.